This is really my first time doing this thing. Facebook. Facebook. Okay, I guess we're gonna catch up with everybody else who's gonna join in. This is my first time creating a Facebook page, and also this is my first time going live on a Facebook page, so this is the start of everything. So basically we're going to be talking about serious matters that affect our country, Zambia, of course. As we all may know of what's really going on in the country, there's a lot of corruption, injustice, oppression, whatever you can call it. And the government has been quiet about it. And you know, we as the voters, we are the ones who put the people in the government in those positions. So I was actually trying to use my computer to go live, but I was forced to use my phone, where I had written a few notes of what I want to talk about. But I mean, it surely affects everybody, so even without the notes, I can still speak out my mind. As we continue, please like this page, Vanji Muchimba. This is my new page. Share the page, follow the page. We need to have a lot of people in this movement. I'm speaking for the youth. Of course, there are many more people out there who are speaking for all of us, but one more person speaking out the truth isn't bad. So to get straight to the point, let's talk about race. You know, we see what's going on in the world, we see what's going on in the world, and take, for example, the United States. You see what's going on. You see how they openly, in public, killed George Floyd. And you see how they are reacting to it. They're at a breaking point, right? They're at a breaking point. So what do you think as Zambians can do about it? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not encouraging riots and looting. Of course, that's part of the things that are going the left side in the United States. But we have that child who got killed by a careless policeman by the name of, is it Frank Mugala? He should have been 10. He was, I don't know if he was going to school or heading back home. He got shot. So we have people in our country who are openly posting Black Lives Matter, Blackout Tuesday. But how much did we do the same for Frank Mugala? How much did we do for him? you know. We, excuse me, I'm just trying to compose myself because this is too much. But we have people in the country, Zambia, of course, that have a good influence or high influence. When they speak, people follow. I have quite a number of celebrity friends who have that following. And I'm quite disappointed that just a few have come out, They forget all these celebrities, most of them have kids. They don't even realize this is something that what happens today affects tomorrow. You know what I mean? So if we don't speak out now, who's gonna speak for us? This is the time we're gonna speak out. I have a lot of friends who have the power to speak. If we don't speak out now, who's gonna speak for our children? Because when they get old, or when they get to where we are, we're gonna be old. They're gonna be saying, oh, you need to retire, you don't need to speak for us anymore. Like, people are gonna, throw that at us. So how do we have to work around this? We have to speak. We have to stand up for our people. We don't have to stand up. We have to sort out our problem at home before we post about what's happening out there. The Notre Dame got burnt. People posted a lot of stuff about it, but Vespas got killed by police at Unza. Of course, we did see protests, peaceful protests, but what justice did we get out of that? If we don't do anything, this thing is gonna keep on happening. It's gonna keep on happening. It's gonna keep on going on, and they don't really care about us. They don't. So if we don't care for ourselves, who's gonna care for us? Who's gonna care for our kids? We need to be the ones to rewrite history. We need to be the ones. We are the youth, we have the voice, we are the ones who vote, Talking about race, of course, there's the incident that happened a few weeks ago about, of course, we're in the time of Corona, so certain things are closed, but things that are happening in Zambia are so worrying, because how can a foreigner like a Chinese openly call a Zambian in their own country a foreigner? How does that even make sense? How? The fact that we allow them in our country, they should be humble enough. They should be humble enough to they should be humble enough to accept that we were open enough to let them in. Of course, our country is a developing country, but that doesn't mean because we're developing and people who bring bulk investments should oppress us. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. It really doesn't work like that, because there's no way a Chinese can lock up people for weeks. Men who, even in the Bible, are written to be providers for the family. So if you lock them up because of COVID, you don't want them to bring COVID in your premises, but you go home to your families, who do you think is taking care of their wives and their kids? Don't you even understand that just the presence of a man in the house can make a difference. So if their wives don't see their men for 2 or 3 weeks and you threaten them that whoever leaves gets fired, then why are you even in the country to invest in our country? But these are the things that government are not speaking about, because we have our mayor who tried to do something, who spoke out the truth, but he was coerced to apologize. Like, really, wow. He was coerced by his own colleagues and people from the government to apologize. Kings Malembe is doing the same thing. Like, how? Kings has a following, you know, he has an audience. And this guy today talks about the right thing of giving the gold mine to the Zambians so that they can benefit, instead of giving, is it the Sudanese government, the Sudanese companies to invest? Like $2.5 million is all we need to build a plant. A plant that can help Zambians. A plant that's gonna bring more employment around people who have not been employed for a long time. You know, people who can find means of bringing food on the table. Then here's a government who wants to give that opportunity to a Sudanese, who's gonna bring more Sudanese people, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Sudanese people to work in that plant. You know, it doesn't really make sense, you know. And we have ministers openly threatening people who've tried to speak out, you know. Like, how? When that minister is supposed to stand for the people, he's an elected member of parliament and appointed by the president to stand for the people. And yesterday he openly said, when we're talking to the president, we need to speak in fear. He was on TV saying that openly. Fear and respect are two different things. People, let's get it straight. Fear and respect are two different things. I do not need to fear the president, but I know I have to respect him. If I don't respect him, but I need to respect the seat or the position he was voted into. Now, I don't have anything against the president, but I'll make a few comparisons. About what we're seeing right now and what we didn't see maybe, let's say, 10, 15 years ago. So as I speak, please keep on liking, following, and sharing the page. We need to get more viewers. I'm impressed so far since it's a new page. Let's take a little bit of comparison. I won't go too far. I was still young when the UNIP government was kicked out of power. When the MMD came in, I was still young, but in the 2000s, when Levi Mwanawasa was the president, I was at least old enough to articulate things, you know. So let's take, I see a few similarities between Levi Patrick Mwanawasa, may he so rest in peace, and our incumbent president, Edgar Chagwa Lungu, you know. So the similarities are these. First of all, they were both lawyers. The late president was a lawyer. And even the current president is a lawyer. In articulation, Levi Mwanawasa led, by the time he passed away while he was in power, he led for almost 7 years, if not a little bit more. So 7 years, and currently President Lungu has led for 6, running to 7 years too. But let's compare the things that they have done in these 7 years. Let's compare what they have done. You can comment if you want to. You're free to express yourself. You can leave your opinions, and I could answer questions as well as we keep on moving. So in these 7 years, what have we seen? What have we seen in these two presidents? I'll give you an example. When President Mwanawasa was in power, $1 was worth 3 kwacha. 3 kwacha. 3 kwacha. Now, $1 is worth 18, 19, wherever it decides to wake up with the value. Wherever it decides to wake up. If it decides to wake up at 19 today, tomorrow it wakes up at 20, it goes back at 18, I remember when I was young, my dad used to send me sometimes to go buy a newspaper if he doesn't do it himself. A newspaper back then was 3 kwacha, a mere newspaper. It was 3 kwacha. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know my stats. 3 kwacha. That's all you needed to have $1 in your pocket. A mere newspaper, that's all you needed. But now, and in that same 3 kwacha, you could get a lot of things. The kwacha had strength and value. It was a threat to many of these big currencies like the dollar, the pound, the euro. Right now, the dollar is at 20, 18, 19. So where did we go wrong between 3 to 18? This is like times 6, Where did we go wrong? Now a newspaper is 10 kwacha. A newspaper is 10 kwacha, if I'm not mistaken. But currently, the newspaper should be 10 kwacha. That 10 kwacha, back in the day, you could buy 3 loaves of bread. Guys, 3 loaves of bread. That 10 kwacha. Now, that 10 kwacha of a newspaper can't even get you $1 back. You need 2 newspapers. You need 2 newspapers to have $1 in your pocket. How bad can things be at this point? I'm only telling you things that I'm speaking out for the youth. At the end of the day, you make the decision in the booth. But next year, guys, you need to vote with your sense. Don't vote because that's where it's trending, Vote with your sense. I was speaking about race. I could connect that with tribalism. At this point, we see leaders in the forefront pushing this agenda of tribalism. Tribalism has caused genocides, wars. People, don't be deceived by my soft-spoken self. I'm really, really trying to speak out what makes sense so people can get what we're talking about here. People are talking about, no, a Tonga will never rule. That's not what we're built for. That's not what Zambia is all about. Anybody can be a president. I can be a president. A lady can be a president. Even the list of tribes that we don't even, mention on the regular in the country, anybody from that tribe can be a president. So why would you say a Tonga will never rule? That's pure tribalism. you know. When God says yes, nobody can say no. People are going to say HH will never go in. If God has already said yes, he will go in. Just like that, he will go in. And there's nothing you can do about it. Even Sata himself was mocked. Even Sata himself was mocked that he will not go in by these same people who are running the government now, who are in the opposition of who are in the current government then of MMD. You know. So I was still comparing the two things that we see between Levin Mwanawasa and Edgar Lungu. What's the other one? The other one was when President Mwanawasa got into power. When President Mwanawasa got into power, the country's economy was plunging. You know, we were listed in the HIPC countries. HIPC is highly indebted poor countries. That means we had so much debt. You know, that means we were really at a point where we cannot borrow anymore. What did Mwanawasa do? He readjusted everything. He readjusted everything to a point where we had come out of the HIPC list of countries, poor countries. We came out of that list through his associated Minister of Finance then, Ngando Magande. You know, excuse me. And also, he worked on the agricultural sector with his minister then, the late Mundia Skatana. You know. So, these are both lawyers. But one came out of that position a king. The other one is still in position with so many challenges and so many complaints from people. Right now, the current government has borrowed so much money to a point where even the IMF cannot give us any more. We are as good as back in HIPC. You know, when our country is blessed with so much resources that even the United States or these European countries do not have in excess. Blessed. Now we have gold. Gold just popped up from nowhere. Like, how? You know. So the other thing I can say is the people that you may not be the best of leaders, but if you associate yourself with people or credible people around you, they'll advise you well and they'll do the needful. Mwanawasa had he was a no-nonsense person. You mess up, you're out. He'll fire you instantly. But you see, we have even the health minister right now who's under investigation by the Anti-Corruption Commission. And he's still in power. He's still in the office. He still has that immunity that was bested upon him by the president. Bestowed. I'm pissed off, sorry. So, the difference is, if you have credible people around you, they will tell you the truth. Mwanawasa didn't need to be a good leader, but he put people in key positions that did the job. He did the job, you know. And look at his legacy at this point. We all rule because we want to be remembered for what we did for our country, you know. But now, the other one is, you know, Levi Mwanawasa fought for corruption. On this part, since they're both lawyers, I expect the same thing. If maybe President Lungu is not good enough in putting people in key positions, but on the aspect of corruption, this component is what I expect him to do much on, especially that he's a lawyer. He knows what the law is. He knows what the corruption is, what corruption is. We have devalued the anti-corruption system to a point where they are openly telling the public that they cannot find the 48 houses, like the owners of the 48 houses. Like, how? If I told you I have 1,000 hectares of land somewhere in Zambia, even if I don't give you a location, tell the government in 2 hours, they'll find my name. Even when they don't know the location, they'll find me. Even 2 hours is too much, you know. But 48 houses that are already built, did money... Wow. Did money just... First of all, did money, before the building came out, did money just blow out from a ceiling fan and just built itself? 48 houses, even just one house, we couldn't find the owner, just one. And you have people out there who can't even afford to buy a window pane for their house if they are building. There are retirees who can't get their pension, but people are out there stealing mukula tree, selling it. It's such a shame. It's really a shame. Keep on liking, guys. This is, now you can comment too. I appreciate, Walia, I see you. Clara, thank you. Lombe, happy. Thank you for being part of this, guys. I appreciate. Chisenga, I see you, bro. My in-law in St. Louis, I see you. Okay, back to serious business. So, the government is quiet about this whole thing. People are trying to speak out. Today is HH's birthday, Bali. We all call him Bali at this point. You know, it's his birthday. But in the country we live in, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the ministers call us out for even wishing him a happy birthday. You know, let's be fair by it is. Even Chishimba Kambwili, you know, people keep, at this point, they keep pushing him around. Oh, when you were in government, you didn't talk about this, you didn't do this. He had work to do, you know. He did his part, you know. Of course, I do not agree in some of the things that, you know, transpired while he was in government, but he is speaking for the people right now. It doesn't matter whether he wants to stand for presidency or something, but he is speaking for the people, you know. He's really speaking for the people. And the best you can do is, you know, follow. He's not misleading you. When HH speaks, when Harry Kalava speaks, you know, These opposition guys, when they speak, they are not misleading you. Of course, things get different when you're in that position, but at this point, with all the mediocre things that are happening in Zambia, are you really going to keep up with this nonsense? This current government, this incumbent government, is taking clear advantage of the Zambian people. In your eyes, you're actually seeing that. In your eyes, you can see that, openly. The Lusaka-Ndola Road was quoted for 1.2 billion. I think it's like 300 or 400 kilometers. Like, the actual quote for that road is $400 million or 300, somewhere there. Then the government quotes this for $1.2 billion. Where is this $700, $800 million going to? In their pockets, nowhere else. Where is this 808? That's almost $1 billion, guys. Let's just be accurate. It took Jay-Z all his life to make $1 billion. And someone just loots that off a road construction. $800 million. Just think about it. $800 million, guys. You are set for life. These politicians of now, they took that money, put it in their pockets. What else can you expect from a mediocre government? What do you expect? Let's just put a spade right there. I'm not one to know how things are restructured and all that in government, but I think with my little sense of knowledge, in that $800 million, I know how I can break it down. $800 million, I can break it down in $100 million each. In this, I can break it down and improve 8 parts of sectors that need help. Maybe even $50 million each. But let's talk about $100 million. This $100 million, I can put it in the agriculture sector. In the agriculture sector, provide supply for the farmers and their inputs so that they can, plant seeds or crops, or at the end of the day have a bumper harvest. Just like we had when our president, Levin Mwanawasa, was in power with Mundia Skatana as the agriculture minister then. We had a bumper harvest. Farmers were rich, even though they called them dirty because people deem farming as dirty, but farming is a big sector people can actually exploit in that business. Farmers were rich then. Now they're receiving their inputs late. In that same agriculture, I would invest in irrigation machinery. We just had a drought just the other day in Zambia. We just had a drought. We are just coming back to normal right now. We just had a drought. Invest in machinery when we do not have rainfall. This machinery is running throughout, irrigating the crops, so that even though we do not have rainfall, but we have enough to harvest when the season comes. Of course, we need road network in our country. Roads are important, but again, roads don't feed people, Roads don't feed people. They are quoting 1.2 billion, but they haven't finished constructing the road. Where they started from is already breaking down. Does that even make sense? The quality is not even top notch like that. But the money is going, but they just took away $800 million. You don't even need to. The other scenario is the 42 fire tenders they bought. Fire tenders, 42. Like I said, of course, there are fire outbreaks, but misplaced priorities is what it is right now. How can you buy 42 fire tenders? On a quote, one is almost $300,000 or $400,000, if I'm not mistaken. But the government quoted this for $1 million each. So if they bought 42, then they spent $42 million. On average, with that quote for 400, maybe they should have spent at least 12 million. I'm not sure, somewhere there. But I don't know. But at most $30 million somewhere there has been stolen. $30 million. Stolen just like that. In our eyes, we are seeing all this. And as youths, we only talk, we only laugh when, that fire, the other day the fire tender had an accident, it rolled over on the highway, and we just laughed about it. But, when it hits home, you realize they spent $1 million on that. Pathetic. Cholo is saying, true, speak up, but don't do as a king's malembe. No, man, to be honest, I have no time to apologize. The truth is the truth. We speak it by its sounds, The truth hurts, but the revolution should be televised. It should be televised. So, people are out there taking money like it's nothing, Just recently, because we have so much debt, because we have so much debt, the government wants to find somebody who can advise these lending companies on how we can restructure our debt. And they're ready to pay that person $5 million. When just earlier on, I just spoke about saying they want to give a Sudanese government or a Sudanese company 2.5. They want a Sudanese company to invest $2.5 million in a gold mine plant, processing plant. Does it even make sense? Are you telling me our country, guys, our country does not have $2.5 million? If people can raise that. There are people who have money in the country, who have shares in Lusaka Stock Exchange, Give that to the Zambians and they'll raise that money real quick. They'll raise it real quick. But here, the government says doesn't have 2.5 million to invest in that, but they have $5 million to give a French advisor to go advise the lenders or talk or convince the lenders on how we can restructure our debt. See how they're misplacing their priorities? $5 million. There are a lot of Zambians who have learned and who are educated, who can advise. If you're not comfortable with one, you can get 5. Just get a jury panel for people to help you get to that point. Get a jury panel of intellectuals who have an idea or knowledge in that sector. You will get to that point. But, it's really sad because in the way the money is being released, those are the loopholes of them stealing. You know, stealing money, getting large sums of money and putting it in their pockets when people out there are in total hunger. You know, these villages, when by-elections come in, that's when they go there and give mealie meal. Guess what? They've forgotten. You can ask Chilubi Island just 2, 3, 4 months ago when they had by-elections. You know, I was talking about oppression. You know, even our own political leaders, opposition political leaders, are being oppressed by the government. Even during by-elections, they are not given the proper chance to campaign. You know, for me, I have no problem with the government that's there, but if things are wrong, things are wrong. It doesn't matter if HH is in power, if Kambwili is in power. The truth is the truth. If things are going wrong, we gotta speak out, guys. We gotta speak out. Sitting down like this doesn't help. Guess what? The next thing, the government is gonna be run by Chinese. They already seem like they're taking over, guys. They already seem like they're taking over. There is no way. I've traveled in a number of countries. Every time I'm there, I humble myself because this is not my country. Even in my own country, I still humble myself because I know everybody else is equal. It don't matter if, you know, maybe we come from different backgrounds or something. Everybody's equal, you know. It's a sad reality. Happy, yeah. I agree with you. It's a sad reality. Nambula, hi, bro. It's really a sad reality, guys. We are at a point where we shouldn't be scared to talk about things that are happening in our country. That's why freedom of speech is there. It's written in the Constitution, guys. We are correct under our law to speak out. So long we do that in a lawful manner, we are fine. We don't need to fight. We don't need to kill each other. We don't need to threaten each other. We just need to use the Constitution. Next year, I'm really telling you guys, we need to vote with our mind. You know, like I said earlier, I do have quite a number of celebrity friends who haven't used their platform, like they should. You know, of course, you can't force somebody to speak out, you know, but it's something that's affecting everybody. Everybody's getting affected by it, you know. I really don't know what you guys think, but it's such a sad reality at this point, you know. It's really sad. I think maybe for a start, this was good. I don't know what you guys think. You can comment, share, like my page, Vanji Muchimba. I'll be posting more and more by the day. And we need to speak out. I will be there to speak for the voiceless. No, I will be there, and I'll ensure that this doesn't happen. This mediocre thing that's happening by the PF government, this must stop. This must stop. Purely, it has to stop. Because this division can cause people to lose their lives, you know, open threats by somebody who is supposed to be our leader. He's openly saying, apologize. For what? Apologize for what? For what? I have no time to apologize for this video. Honestly, I have no time. There's no way we can apologize for things that are out there and they're the truth. But anyway, guys, thank you very much. I'll keep you posted in whatever I get to post. You can also feel free to inbox me on what topics you want us to talk about. We can be diverse, but pretty much this is just about politics in our country, Zambia. Thank you, and enjoy your day.